Hello, so I'm outside getting ready to talk about our current project, and you can hear my chicken in the background laying an egg right now. Disregard. Anyways, I just wanted to say hello to all my friends and family, and also thank you so much for all of the random people who have subscribed to me over the last couple months who don't know me but still are like so nice in the comment section. I super appreciate that. I never thought that anybody other than my mom would be interested in the content that I make, so thanks guys, and let's jump right in. All right, so I'm at Coastal getting some 10-foot T-posts because we're gonna be building a garden. Yay! So it's gonna go right up there because that's the place where we get the most sun. I can't remember how many T-posts we got. Anyways, these are just gonna be temporary, and we want to get the garden in the ground, but we don't have time to put up a fence. So we're going to use 30-pound weight, I think is what it's called, fishing lure. Or is it lure? Yeah, it's lure. Line? Anyways, fishing line. And it's supposed to keep the deer out. So they'll run into it and be freaked out, and hopefully that keeps them out. So this ground up here is not level, as you can see. So first step is to box blade it, get it all somewhat flat. So the little tractor has been doing a really good job getting it smoothed out. There's lots of roots that it's pulling out of the ground, which of course the dogs are excited about. And Andy is obviously the tractor man, so he always does a good job. So he's tearing up the high spots, pulling it down to the low spots, and we are going to use the remaining railroad ties. Now, before I get any hate from using railroad ties in vegetable beds, I know there's creosote on them. But that being said, I've done a little bit of research about the railroad ties and using them in vegetable gardens and how you're not supposed to use them because creosote gives you cancer and all of these things. So the people getting cancer from creosote are typically the people who are working in the factories putting the creosote on the railroad ties, or if it's leaching out and getting on your skin. So I will tell you right now, I have super sensitive skin. I've been moving these railroad ties, cutting them, doing all sorts of things with them. I have not had any side effects thus far. Also, there's no research to show that it leaches into the ground more than about 6 inches when they're brand new railroad ties. Now, mind you, these railroad ties were old when we got them. They've been sitting on my property for almost 2 years. There's no thick, black, gooey, squishy creosote coming out of them. When you cut them in half, you can see that it's not permeated any more than maybe 2 or 3 millimeters into the wood. So the majority of the creosote is already gone. So I'm not overly concerned about it. I am, however, going to line these with plastic just to be extra safe. Of course, do your own due diligence as far as what you want to use for your raised beds. We had these on hand, so I'm going to use them. Okay, so as you can see here, we've cut most of these railroad ties in half that we need. So we're leaving one long. We're putting the half cuts on the inside. So these beds are going to be roughly 8 feet by about 5 feet. And I've set them out in the arrangement that I want, and we're going to level them up. Not level them to each other. We're going to level each bed to themselves, and there's going to be a little bit of a stagger. So we've got 4 beds on either side, 1 bed facing the other direction in the middle, and 4 on the opposite side. This garden altogether is 20 feet from there to there, and it kind of narrows down as you go, and it's about 17 feet from there to there. The reason why we didn't go 20 feet is we'd have to cut out a pretty steep hill here, and I was just not willing to put in the work to get this down. It doesn't seem super steep here, but we'd have to cut out probably like a foot, maybe 1.5 feet more that direction, and it goes up about 1.5 feet too. So that's a lot of dirt we'd have to cut out. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have this open space here from the end of this bed. Let me get up here. From the end of this bed here to there, this is all going to be cut flowers. So that's south, this is north. The sun is going to kind of, travel this way as the summer comes. So this is the area that gets most of the sun. Believe it or not, I thought maybe out there would be great, but these big trees, they really block it. So this is the spot. So when I plant zinnias or tall things, sunflowers like I'm planning on doing, I'm gonna have to put the rows going this way with the tallest in the back, and then, you know, snapdragons, shorter things in front. I also got some celosia, which I'm really excited about, so I'm probably gonna plant that out here too. My goal at some point is all of those hog panels that I have out there, I'm going to use as like a trellis. So I've got a couple different types of tomatoes. Some of them grow really big, like 10 feet tall, and the other ones are like more bushing. So I'm gonna put hog panel and trellis up this way and this way, and grow my tomatoes out there so they can grow up that. Same thing if I get some cucumbers, which I haven't got seeds for yet. Might grow some cucumbers up it and put my little bushing plants in the front, maybe some, you know, cabbage in the front, tomatoes in the back. Same thing here, like lettuce, things that are low, so that when the sun comes over, those back ones are getting hit. Also, what I thought would be super cool with those hog panels, and I'm sure that by now everybody has seen the hog panel trellises that like are almost like tunnels. So I'm gonna like bend one like this, whoop, so that I have a cool trellis here. And maybe I thought potentially putting like one here and there, and so I could potentially plant nasturtiums or the sweet peas, like the flowers, and grow them up so there's like little flower tunnels here. I thought kind of about doing the same thing back here. I want these to be 3 feet wide. They're obviously like way more than 3 feet right now. And I don't know if I'm gonna bring these in so that it's more narrow and there's more space between the bed and the fence. I'm actually not super concerned about deer coming through here to get to the vegetables. So if it's close to the fence on this side, I'm not super concerned. I would be more concerned about that side. But I also don't mind having a wide path here because I can do like barrels, wine barrels, or my little wine barrel there, or galvanized buckets, and do things like potatoes or onions, things that I don't really want spreading, or even you know, herb crops like mint, things like that, that I just don't want taking over. So these are obviously not level yet, and this beam is going to go on the inside here and right there, and so they're going to be spread out more, and these are going to have 2 or 3 feet gaps. And you know, we talked about that creosote. Like I said, it's really not like seeped into this wood at all, and they don't smell. It doesn't get anything on your hands. Like I said, I've been fiddling with these and I haven't gotten any rashes or weird things like that. But again, you got to do your own due diligence as far as what you think is safe for you and your family. I'm not super concerned. Like I said, they say creosote doesn't spread more than 6 inches from the source when these are brand new, and they're not brand new. And also, there's no evidence that roots of plants uptake any sort of creosote. Also, my whole back fence there is lined with flowers. Let me go show you. Before I show you the railroad ties, I wanted to take a quick pit stop here at my snapdragons and my coneflowers here. And I got them outside on the back deck because I'm hardening them off. So I bring them out, you know, 1 or 2 hours a day for the next week, week and a half before I put them in the ground. But I've been experimenting. So these are my snapdragons that have been coming back for the last 3 years. Look how beautiful and tall they are. And then that little baby is one of those guys that I brought out here just to see how it would do with the temperatures. And these guys too. So they've been outside for 2 or 3 days and nothing terrible has happened so far. So there are cold hardy plants. So I'm guessing maybe they're just happy to be out here. It's not been too crazy, but I'm still gonna bring my flats inside just because I don't want to risk it. But, and look, I've got some lupin that decided to sprout up. So hopefully I get some flowers from them. Anyways, let's move on to the railroad ties. Here we go, railroad ties on the ground. I've got stuff all over. Everybody's super happy. Nobody's been complaining. As far as, you know, the growth, I haven't seen any of the plants, and they're growing right next to them. So, like I said, I'm not overly concerned, but again, do your due diligence. Check out my jugs. Nobody's coming up in any of the ones that I planned from last time yet, because it's only been a couple days, but there's my Johnny jump up lights again. Let's see if I can, oh, there they are. And actually my yarrow, there's my little yarrow seeds. So it's going really well out here. So I am totally stoked to put all of this stuff up there. So more after we get everything leveled out, and we'll go from there. So that's where we're at right now. These next couple weekends, we're gonna be leveling those out, obviously getting some dirt in. I'd like to do some steppable bark in between so that I can easily get in there. But this is just part one and more to come.